So one of the first things that we're going to do today is we're going to make the crumble so we can put it in the oven and so it can bake and get crumbly. So we're gonna cheat. We're gonna use instant oatmeal, and I picked the maple and brown sugar, but you could pick the cinnamon and apples. You could pick the cinnamon, I think it's a cinnamon and brown sugar, whichever one you like. So I'm doing the maple and the brown sugar. I just thought maybe the maple would give it a little something. So to this, we're just gonna add some melted butter. You know, I want all those sugars and the butter, caramel in the butter, the sweetness in the butter to come out in the oven. So this looks pretty moist. So I think this would be probably really good right now to put on our cookie sheet. So now that we have this on our cookie sheet, we're just gonna put it in the oven at 350 until it's brown. Okay, so while the crumble is baking, we are going to make our apple pie filling. This is going to thicken as we let it cool. So you know what? We're done. We're just gonna go let this cool now. And that is nice, rich, delicious apple pie filling for a pie, a turnover, or to put on top of ice cream or any dessert you want. And I will link the recipe below in the description box, because I promise you, I probably a lot of times will forget to tell you every single ingredient that I use, and I don't want to be throwing nobody off. So sometimes I'll say the recipe as I go, sometimes I will forget, but I will link it below always in the description box. So that's a promise. So now we are going to get on with our cupcakes, and I have creamed my butter and my sugar. We are now ready for the dry ingredients. So this is a trick that I have learned. It's kind of like to fake cake flour, not sugar, cake flour. So for each cup of flour, you take away a tablespoon of flour and you add a tablespoon of cornstarch. Now some recipes that calls for cake flour, you cannot use this. It's not exactly cake flour and it won't work. It'll destroy the recipe. But if you want a lighter, more fluffier cake, this is an absolute good trick. And we're gonna add a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of baking powder. And these are half teaspoons, that's why I'm adding 2. I'm not cheating. I looked, it is a half. And because it is going to be a spice cake, we're gonna add pumpkin pie spice. And why I choose pumpkin pie spice is because it's a cheat. It's a financial cheat, because instead of buying cinnamon and nutmeg and ginger and cloves separately, you just buy this, and this has all of them in there together. So we're gonna add, I like it spicy, so I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons. And I actually want more cinnamon than that alone, because I'm not sure how, really not sure the ratio. I never really dug into the ratio. I'm just digging this open of the pumpkin pie spice. I probably should, but I didn't. So I'm assuming they're all probably equal, maybe not, I don't know. But I want an extra teaspoon of cinnamon because I love cinnamon. Cinnamon is delicious. And cinnamon is an anti-inflammatory. Okay, so now we're gonna sift. Always sift your flour. So to our creamed sugar and butter, we're just gonna add 1 egg today. So remember I said you never break the egg in there because you're gonna put a shell. I promise you, 1 egg. And I'm gonna cut this on low and just add the egg. Now why are we gonna just use 1 egg today and not 4 like my normal recipe calls for? It's because we're going to do unsweetened applesauce. I'm going to add that in. Okay, so we've been whipping this for a little bit with the applesauce. And at first when I put it in, it looked a little curdled. But after doing it for a while, it's really nice and fluffy. Really fluffy and creamy, just really nice. So now it's time to add our dry ingredients. And we do this just a little bit at a time. And we're gonna alternate it with a cup of milk, also known as half evaporated milk and half water. Why evaporated milk? Growing up in the Bahamas, this is what you really had. Milk was iffy. The fridge, everyone had a fridge, but electricity is iffy. But everyone has evaporated milk. So you mix that half, and that's your milk. Eat it with cereal, coffee, baby. Apparently I drank this as baby milk. So now that we've added all of our flour and all of our milk, you want to scrape it down. You just want to mix it now. You've added all of that. You want to mix it just enough. You don't want it to not be mixed, but you don't want it to be overmixed. And while that's doing, we're going to add our vanilla. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay, so that is done. So now we have our batter. So we're all done with our nice vanilla buttercream, and we have everything here. We have our apple pie filling, we have our vanilla buttercream, we have our cupcakes, applesauce spice cupcakes, and we have our crumb topping. And so now we're just gonna put it all together. Okay, so now we're ready to put these all together. We have used this corer, and we have just poured out the middle of our cupcakes, and hopefully without getting it all over the place, we are going to now fill with our apple pie filling. And you don't want too much because it's just a cupcake after all. It does not, they're not that big. So you don't want it to be overwhelmed with the apple pie filling. We are just gonna go, and we're just gonna do a wallop of buttercream. And it's not fancy, you just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle back and forth. And then we're just gonna add the crumb topping. So you are definitely gonna wanna try this. It is delicious. And let's look at that filling. Mmm, yummy. I'm trying to see it myself. It is delicious. Oh my gosh. This is apple pie in a cupcake. You gotta try it. It's so good. And I want to ask, did you click that pink frosting button yet? If you don't subscribe, I can't continue to give you all these good recipes. And you know fall is coming up and the holidays, and you know you're going to want it. So you need to subscribe and click the notification button so you can get notified every time I have a new video every Saturday morning. And come and keep baking with me.